Hello everyone, my name is Rebecca and welcome back to my Pixel Quest. Thank you so much once again for joining me and everybody else here as we continue our blind playthrough of The Return of the Obra Dinn. Of course, as a general reminder, is my favorite music in the world. It starts up and I'm sort of dancing a little bit and having trouble concentrating because I'm thinking about how much I love this music. Of course, as a general reminder, this is a totally blind playthrough, so again, just as you've heard many times before, I love your comments so much, but just as long as you're keeping kind of any game information out of them. This includes like sort of, things I sort of don't know, or things that haven't been like actually confirmed, fates, for example, because as is apparent, many times I might believe I think a certain way or have a certain person's identity, and obviously, then come back to revise at some point and realize it was not the case. Anyway, it is a joy to have you back here. It's a joy to be back on this title screen. It's a joy. Oh, so good. Listen to this. Go bells, go! Bell solo! Dun 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 dun. It's such a joy. It's such a joy to be listening to this music again. I'm a huge fan. I'm such a huge fan. I actually turned into a Return of the Obra Dinn OST roadie. I've been following the band around on their tour, like moving their equipment, like having the occasional beer with the band, all of that sort of stuff. So there you go. Let's jump back into the game though. Now, here we are again. My God, game. Ouch. Straight through my heart. Thank you. My favorite best friend group here. One of their many sad moments. In fact, the beginning of their, I was going to say the beginning of their sad moments, but look at where they are. They've probably had many sad moments that have led them to this, but this is a very sad moment. And they're going to have many more. However, here we are, appropriately, with our Russian card players, all three of whom now are confirmed. We have confirmed fates. Let me jump back. So, what was absolutely amazing last time was I think if I'm remembering correctly, we got through like 12 fates. So we're over halfway now. Now, I've said many times, this. I probably could have done. I haven't been doing them probably as early as I could have, but that's been my choice. That's been my choice of my play style. That's been how I've wanted to tackle this game. Because the fact is, as I've said before, there are just so many things I could make a good guess on, and I don't want to be making a good guess. Though the boundary of quite where I want to step is difficult. Like, as much as possible, I'm trying to get to a point where I feel, there's a lot of evidence pointing towards X, or there's straight out confirmation of X. And I find it more fun to play that way. I find it more satisfying to play that way because, there are guesses you could make right out of the gate in this game, and then you're sort of like missing out on the fun. Like, if you do that, you're getting you might be getting confirmations really early, and I think that you'd be, at least for me, I would be missing out on the fun that I want to have, which is all of the wondering, which is the exploring, the hunting, the wondering, the revising, the realizing I had the wrong idea, and thinking of, revising again, and maybe that's the correct idea, or maybe that's the wrong idea. All of that is the fun of doing something like this. It's the fun of this playground of murder, mystery, insurance-related, administrative, deduction and induction that we have been blessed with here. So, nevertheless, it felt like the right time last episode because, a couple of clues in particular just let us go, pow, 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 and get a whole bunch of them kind of confirmed at once. One of the most important bits of information being whether we're calling all of these various things that we've seen everywhere beasts And indeed, I got enough confirmation about that to go ahead. And also, distinctions like speared versus spiked, all of that sort of stuff. So that helped a lot. Now, for this episode, there's a couple of things on my mind. The big one is, I think, given that we've been through this chapter now, though not everything is finished here, but we've been through this chapter now, the calling, I think that once we sort of get that done, then if there's another way to move forward in the game, I think access opens up to it. So I suspect that down below, the locked door in the Lazarette is open. I might be wrong about that. That's my suspicion at the moment. I think that's going to be how we move forward. I was actually just wanting to start with a little think about this chapter, the calling. Like, I think I've come a long way with it now. I think I've been through more or less like the details that we can see in the stories and the memories in the chapter itself. So I feel kind of comfortable with what's going on here in general. But what I was thinking of is, what is the reason that this chapter is called The Calling? What actually is the calling? I think my best guess, I have a couple of ideas, but my best guess at what the calling actually is the fact is somehow or other, when these shells came off the ship and or came out of the chest of drawers, it seemed to me that they themselves called these mer people / wretched fish, etc. They seemed to be called to the boats. And maybe this is sort of the beginning of all of the various, oceanic army advancing upon this ship. So is that in itself the calling? Is just the fact that the shells were because Lim was saying, don't let them fall into the ocean, and then she talked about the monsters. So they know. But nothing, as far as I can tell, nothing did fall into the ocean. But maybe it was close enough. Like maybe it was close enough to the ocean that they were able to kind of call, all of their various warriors and protectors to come and help out. I don't know. So that could be the calling. However, the other thing I'm thinking that could be the calling is Beng doing this. Beng sticks his arm into the chest of drawers, into what, I don't know, seems like a pile of rocks or stones or something or other in there. I don't know. He says, no, not in this one. It's in this one, yeah. He says, I have it. I have it. I have it. I have it. I don't know what he has because as far as I can tell, it's not the shell. The shell is accessible via the little drawer. So I don't know why you would stick your hand in the top. He seems like he has something else. What does he have? But anyway, when he does this, kapow! All of this light comes out and it clearly does away with all of the mer beasts in one pretty amazing fell swoop. But is that perhaps the calling? And it's really just the fact that it's dramatic that's making me think that. Maybe that is kind of like the bigger, like the calling itself, is the fact that he activated some important energy that we haven't seen that's in that drawer. I don't know. I'm still unclear about what's been going on there. Okay, now I find myself in this scene here, but I don't know what else there. There might be something because we've confirmed a lot of fates now. That's a whole bunch of confirmations out of the way. Changes the way that we see other data points, changes the context and the possibilities for other data points. So it may well be that there's something else to be sort of gleaned down there, but I don't have a specific idea right now. So I think I'm keen to figure out here to head down and see what we see down here. I'm expecting the padlock to be open, and if it's not, oh, I've gone the wrong way. That's right. This one opens up down the far end already. It's right here next to me. It's not open. Okay, I was about to say if it's not open, I don't know what to do. I thought that this would be open. Is something else open then? Because this is a padlock. What opens a padlock? Well, a key, right? But then again, why couldn't we get into the other doors? It doesn't have, here's the thing. It doesn't have a cross or a line on it like the other doors. So actually, but then again, neither did, you know, like the trap doors here. Like they didn't have that sort of thing on them and they were still magicked open. Well, I've got some thinking to do then, because I thought this might be the way forward and I'm absolutely wrong. In that case, is there any other... There's nothing else that can... Is there anything else that could be accessible to us now? Otherwise, what I think... You know, we've been in here. Yep. The captain's bottles and boxes. The captain's IKEA storage solutions. We've been in all of these doors. There's nothing. There's nothing. Like I don't think we have items in this game, right? Like I don't think I'm finding a key. So I think if a door isn't magically open, I think it's not accessible to me. Let me just have one more look at this, because what other possibilities could there be for this? I mean, that's open, I get it, but I feel like I have to go in here to go in there, and then we find out. Let me consider this space again. Let me see the map. You know, like if we go to higher parts of the ship, there's no way down or anything. It's just, we've got to go in here. So do I have to go in here in a memory then? Do I go in here in a memory? And perhaps, now that I think about it, though I can't recall the actual way all of this played out throughout the entire game, but like, is it in fact that if we get access to an area in a memory, that is in fact what opens things up in the present? So maybe that's it then. Well, if I have to get down here, the only thing I can recall is that at one point in one of these memories, someone is about to open this. However, I don't think in the subsequent... I'll have a look, of course, I have to check. It's just my memory is that I don't think in the subsequent memories from whatever that memory is... that's not what I'm trying to do. It's during this one. I don't think there is a way down from there. But let's have another thing. So let's go kind of forward in time. Now here we're just stuck in this area. And it really is a small part of the area. Like, you know what? Look, I'm so sure that I know what I'm talking about. However, obviously I'm missing something. So let's go and look. Let's go see Spider. There's no way to get to the Lazarette from this memory, and we also can't get back up. But I'm just going to double check, because if I don't double check, I may miss something important. We can work our way back. It might not be in this chapter, but what I want to check on is that, yeah, there is someone opening that. Yep. So, we cannot get up past this thing. We can only sort of see up the stairs. Did I even ever notice you? Is this the carpenter's? Oh, it's Peter's. I cannot even remember if I ever saw him here. I cannot even recall. Oh, well done, Peters. Wow, I might have missed that. I'm not sure. Absolutely have no memory of seeing this because it's kind of almost completely obscured from this side. And I don't know if I ever walked... I'm getting stuck on the spider crustacean again. I don't know if I ever walked myself around here and looked here specifically. Ah, hey Peters. Okay, whichever Peters you are. Yeah, and this, speaking of Peters, this is where the environment peters out. So we can't go anywhere there. We can just see these people. We can't go through these doors. Nothing else from here is accessible. Nothing else from here is accessible. We can't open any doors. No. So that's that. Now, if we go one back from here, let me just double check. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so we've got to go around to your... And the one before this, yeah. I have a feeling maybe this is the one. So this is a problem as well, because in this one, we're stuck over here. We can't even get into this main area. It does say they make for the Lazarette. We're talking about the Lazarette, but in this memory, we are stuck entirely on the port walk, I think it's called. This one is my memory, and this is where I could be wrong. My memory is that this is the memory where the guy is about to open the door down to the stairs down to the Lazarette. Anyway, but to be thorough, let's... So by the way, those big thick ropes down there, I'm just noting for myself, this is not related to anything except ship functionality, right? But those big ropes here, they go round, and then they go out there. Okay, got it. Our other guy, we just find him around on the port walk, don't we? Excuse me. Sad death, excuse me. I really want to open things. All of my exploration, senses are tingling. They want to look at things that haven't even been designed to be looked at. Yeah. All we can do here is look through. But let's see what we see. Let's see what we see of this open... Maybe. I don't even think we can see down that far. So it would be all the way down here. This is kind of pretty much blocked. That's, the other spider crustacean and the midshipman. That's Henry taking care of our other guy. And that's our guy. So this would be the only view where I could see, is that thing open or not? But what would it help me if it is open? The fact is I can't get there. Unless it's open and accessible in the next memory, I can't get down there. And I don't think it is. Straight there. Why go the long way around? See, he's opening. He's opening, but it is not opened.
I'll get you down.
And that is Peter's. So that's interesting. So maybe what happens is, because these are different stairs to the stairs that we see Peter's behind, so maybe he goes down there and kind of goes up to the other staircase and kind of gets behind it. Oh, well, that's interesting to note anyway. But yeah, so we can't get access down here from here. We can't. We can't. What a cool cutlass. What a classic cutlass there. Oh man. Okay. Super cool music. Super cool. We can get a little look in here to the Formosan bedroom, the Formosan toilet. Nothing to note. Why would they keep anything interesting up here when there is only a curtain to secure it? Okay. Alright, so I'm going to say I don't think access is possible in this memory. In that case, obviously it's none of our earlier memories. I think that the calling is the next one. Like, the calling was our most recent chapter. So maybe we do have to, but no. The problem is, like, most of these, of course, are on the ocean. We cannot get back into the ship. Not that I know of, we cannot get back into the ship. So none of these are useful. None of these are useful except for the ones so these two, their bodies end up on the top of the ship. But all of them, if you go into their memory, it brings you into the same off-ship scene. So none of that is useful either. None of that is useful. So if we then go up to unholy captives, I'm even now sitting here wondering, like, maybe it's solving fates. Like, if we solve more fates, maybe that gets us access to the Lazarette. Surely not. I'm gonna say surely here, but, like, surely not all the way to here, right? And this would be, hang on, let's just think logically about this. The last one we're going to get is bargain. Bargain has. And this is when we leave the ship. So I don't know what's going to happen here, but we've got part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5. Part 5 is in the Lazarette. Really? So, if the very last chapter that we are going to get is the bargain, I know I could have just clicked on that. All right, here we go. Like, this will be the equivalent of 3 fates right here. So whatever this is the final 3. I'm honestly even like, what is this? What is this? What does this mean? What is this? We've already blown past it. What's this little smoke cloud that our happy little skull is blowing out here? So the bargain should even stretch out to, like, let's say 1, 2... So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It should be the equivalent of... The bargain itself, if these are the last fates we solve, should be all the way here. So it can't be a matter of reaching this. But nevertheless, maybe it is like getting more fates actually gets you there. And the problem with this one, I don't think this gives us access to this area, but let me take a look at it again, because I haven't been back here.
Keep pressure here.
Hold him down.
Like, it's locked in this one, right? It's locked.
What madness is this? 20 years my steward, and never a doubt on your sanity.
What we know is that we have to find out more about this steward. This steward is everything.
Back or doom us all.
throw him
Tie
back.
him up and put him in the lazarette with those things. He may yet find his senses.
Come on.
I suppose I've got a bit more,
All's fine, John. Been in worse spots, I think. Where's the rest of his leg?
yeah, it's not in this scene is the problem. It's not in this scene. I've got a little bit more context now for this though, because we know more about these fish and how they were brought on board. So, it's still pretty cruel, I think, what the captain is doing. Locking him in the lazarette with those fish that have already killed others. However, I suppose I can find it a little bit more believable that the captain... Can we go up and around? That the captain thinks, yeah, they're pretty much dead. So, no, we can't. We can't access from this memory. And this is just before a whole bunch of other people are going to pass away as well. Well, let's go here. Let's work our way through this one. Because obviously I have worked through this in looking with a different focus, you know, identifying people, identifying what story is going on. So no, this doesn't bring us over there either. This doesn't bring us over there either. So the previous one should be our man here. We can't even get down there. And there's no... Yeah, we can't get around this area. I mean, realistically, if we were going to go down... If we were going to go down into the Lazarette somehow, it's got to be a death that is fairly close to the Lazarette. I'm not really sure about the verticality. Like here, we can't go down. But in other things, we would be able to go down from here. Like this should... You know, this shouldn't be a problem. It just is a problem in this particular memory. We can go up because this is the story it wants us to see next. So I don't think there's any consistency with vertical access. I'm gonna jump over everything. Now I know here we're on the deck.
What the hell is going on? What do you know about these things? About the chest and your dead friends?
The chest. So they call it the chest anyway, that's they call it the chest. There's nowhere anywhere from here.
Shell? What shell?
Shell? What shell? The shell, one shell to end them all. Right, so we can't go anywhere from here. Jumping around all over the place. This doesn't get us in the lazarette because the leg is somewhere. The leg is somewhere else. The leg is somewhere else. These things have speared through the wall here. Come on, just give it a shake. Okay, so let's look immediately around here then. We've looked at this one. The guy is still in the process of opening the door. How about in a different chapter? Maybe this one, and the cow potentially. Problem is the body is here, however, the death takes place somewhere else. Yeah. From this we get a lot of... It's a really amazingly dense chapter, but we cannot go up or down from here. is the problem. Can't go up, we cannot go down. We're really stuck. Dum, bum, bum, bum. This one occurs before... Yeah, this one occurs before Peters starts to open the door. There's someone else's opening it. Yeah, this guy just gets speared. We can't get there. Here we go. Peters is just coming down here. Interesting. Alright. So that's nothing for us either. You know, like even like Nunzio's death, it doesn't get us all the way to the Lazarette. It took us ages to even see it, to be able to access it. This one... This is in the surgeon's room. We will be able to walk out. But there it is closed. Oh no, my sad best friends! And I suppose everything here is actually quite normal. You're just here having a sit, rather than having a sleep. You're having a chat with the guard, maybe. Got it. Like, there's no other access. What's the purser up to? What about the artist's death? We would need to come down like a couple of floors, but that would be wild. Why would they, the artist, no, they wouldn't let us into the Lazarette all the way back then. I think I am starting to at least, you know, rule these possibilities out though. I mean, these are nearby. It would just be a matter of, can we go down a couple of floors? I doubt it. I very much doubt it at this stage. No, yeah. At some point this does get opened up though. At some point this does get opened up. But we're going to go back through time doing this. Let's look at them all anyway. Yeah, closed, of course, as it was previously. Maybe we need to go to the latest death there. Our midshipman. But I doubt it. I really doubt it. This is just too early. But I'm just... What I'm doing is just like making sure I check. Because I don't want to say something, you know, I don't want to not check. I don't want to say it, make an assumption and not check.
You're cut. Don't leave me. Bear up, son. I'll stay with you.
Yeah.
Tell Pete.
Tell Pete. That was pretty cool. Oh my god. I should try that with more of the, Miss Lim. Oh my god. You could make some really interesting remixes from that effect. So, I mean, we're talking about the escape here. Yeah, that's the final death here anyway. Okay. Alright.
I tried my best.
Aye.
To pull him back, to save him. You tell her yourself.
Well, let's go and check out the artist, though, you know, again, that would be in the Doom. So I seriously doubt it. It's in the other direction. We're gonna have to go up and down again. Man, the ship is a maze! Why didn't they include a map? I do have a map, but I mean, like, why isn't there more wayfinding here? Alright, this was Edward Spratt, yeah? Edward, oh my god! No, Edward Splat! I just thought of it! No, poor Edward, he's already had a pretty... Oh no! I'm sorry. I want you to have the most dignity. But actually, I've never looked properly around here, have I? Oh, so this... Ah, this steward who... Paul, that's right. Paul, who later gets sorted. Paul's getting some meals. Crazy. Crazy I never looked around properly in this one. Paul's about to have his dinner, maybe. And maybe take a plate to someone. We've got sleeping guys here. I have missed so much in this one. I think I was just jumping around from this. So we can't, hang on. No, of course not. We can't see these people. We can only see the numbers. 43 and 44. Just out of curiosity. We've got to know what we're dealing with here. I can almost remember, actually. 43 and 44. Ah, Marba. It's not what I was thinking anyway. Marba and Lewis Walker. Okay. Interesting. Lewis, who are you? Just someone having a sleep. Just someone having a sleep. Actually, is there any interesting detail about you? Do you have like a little cat statue? You have a tattoo? Maba, we know who you are now. Doesn't appear to be anything personal here. Crazy. This is probably... Yeah, this is probably... So 45 is here. The arrangement is so different. There's only some of them are up. 41. Who are you guys? Ah. So that's the Chinese guy who's kind of, I don't know, guiding, manhandling, not sure. Manhandling, probably. And, yeah. This guy playing the game. We know you're not the gunner's mate. But there were obviously many other just seamen who were around the gunner at that time, shooting the cannon. So I guess he's just one of them. Of course we can do the thing where we can rule some people out here, because we can say, you know, we can take a stab at the fact that people might be actually in their correct. These ones are empty anyway. But we could say he's not Lewis, for example. He's not Lewis, he's not Maba. We know that. He's not 45, and let's check on 45. This is yet another interesting way of tackling this. We know he's not. Yeah, I was like, 45 is one of the Russians, right? So yeah, he's not that. We know he's not one of them. So process of elimination could lead us to your identity, maybe. interesting to see this one actually draped here, not attached properly. I cannot believe I didn't come back and check this one properly. I know who this is anyway. This is the guy who was crushed by the cannon, who I thought could be Samuel, but I'm not sure. Making a big assumption here. But actually, you know, here he is walking with Martin. So you know, the logical thing would be to think, could this be Martin? Of course, yeah, we've got to remember, this is second mate. Evil Edward Nichols. I don't know if he's really evil, but he's certainly not done some good things. He's done some not good things. And he has certainly been a major force, if not the major force, in the calamity, all of the calamities that have occurred. So he's second mate, you know, makes sense for this guy. This guy was the one whispering to him, right? To be the second mate steward. It's just that as I've explained before, I didn't want to make that quite that leap of an assumption, because people can have discussions with other people, you know. But I would say it's got to be fairly likely that this is actually the third mate steward, not the second mate steward. So that would make him Roderick. Roderick, he does look like a Roderick in a way, but then again, he also looks like a Samuel. They're taking food somewhere. And who's this? This is X, but we know who X is. X is William or Rahid, I think. These appear to be... Oh, this one's got someone in it. 56. 56 is... Henry Brennan. Okay. Brennan. Got it. How interesting to see, how delightful to see these scenes that I missed. There you go. It is really important to systematically go back through things, which, in my defense, I thought I was doing. But I had rushed to this one and not gone back to it. So nothing going on over here. Can we see any other sign of the squid, I wonder? Uh-huh. So he's going to get tossed into the ocean at some stage. Right. This is the kid, possibly, the fourth mate's steward. But then again, surely all four of the stewards are the four guys who are over the side. So I don't think this is the fourth mate steward. Don't know what's going on with the kid. Yeah, these two. Hanging out again, eh? Hanging out again. We know who that is. Let's just see if we can see... I don't think so. Aha! I had a feeling there'd be something. Aha! Isn't that cool? Isn't that amazing? Haha. So it's really just like wrapping its tentacles around this whole end of the ship. That is so cool. That is amazing. Let's get a look over here. We won't be able to see all the way down to Edward. Ah, so excellent. How creepy. How creepy. And there's no one here to spy this. And I don't think... Like, there's nothing that this guy is seeing, right? No, I don't think so. He's just looking over here. Nope, all good. Giant tentacles just over to the side here. Ah, just before it all goes down. I mean, it certainly has gone down. In more ways than one for our poor artist, Edward Spratt. It's gone down many ways over for him. Ah, how freaking delightful. How super cool. Not cool for Edward, but super cool to see all of this finally. Great. Absolutely great. Okay. Thanks, Edward. Thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for your sacrifice. Ah, excellent. How amazing. How amazing. I think this is my favorite bit. The fact that this guy's looking over. Huh? You know, probably thinking like, wow, that's one hell of a dump. Like, that's one hell of a dump. Because most of it's sort of, it just sounds like that, right? Like, he's reaching for this food and he's probably like, hang on a second. Edward just ate dinner. Is there something, am I going to get like the worst food poisoning ever from this? He's thinking twice about it. Ah, interesting. This might be one of the most interesting scenes for having to think about your identity, actually. But I don't think I've come far enough for the amount of elimination of possibilities that we can do in this scene on top of everything else that we've got confirmed. I don't think it's enough. There is still a lot of people unaccounted for. Less and less, substantially less, but I mean, we can also eliminate, like, we can do a few other logical things here. He's not Samuel or Nathan Peters because, you know, we know who one of them is and the other one is dead by this stage. So this one we can rule out. He does not look like he's from Sierra Leone. He doesn't look like he's named Hamadou Diom. So Alexander Booth, and he's not Samuel Peters. George Shirley. We have come across these names, I think, in the sleeping scene from memory. You know, we found like number 57, number 59. So Alexander Booth, George Shirley. But that doesn't mean it's, you know, he's not one of them here. We can't eliminate them from that separate scene. He could be Lewis Walker, though. I don't think he was one of the people up in the sails, but I don't think all of the topmen were accounted for up there. However, I have... I don't know, I was just thinking maybe that scene is worth revisiting as well, because I have confirmed a bunch more people since last taking a look at them. Omid Gul. Yeah, and from here I doubt he's any of these people. So I actually think, like, you know, I think this guy we could find out from a good process of elimination, and I think we're well on our way. We're on our way, but I think I'm not there yet. Okay, super interesting. I have... this has reminded me of a good couple of things I'm really curious to do. And the question is, what next? Where are we? What's nearby? Okay, I want to see the cow memory. I want to see cow memory. Show me cow. I don't want to see this horrible thing happening to cow, however.
Take him to the cow crate. Name wrapped and keep the left right.
Let her here. One swing. Get through the skull in stone or brain. I'll cut her throat when you've done it.
Here?
Yeah. Come on before she kicks up.
Our poor guy. Who is that? It's like Charles or something,
been on a
right?
farm,
Yeah,
John?
Charlie.
Mind your shoes now.
Oh my god. Okay, so this was basically all of our midshipmen, right? Charles. I'm just remembering for myself. Charles is like Thomas. I was like Timothy. Thomas, who gets knifed, and Peter, who gets exploded, and poor Charles, possibly the most heroic of them all, who ends up on the back of an eldritch horror riding a crustacean spider, or possibly is the same creature. Okay. Now, you know, why, at this stage, why would I not say this is the butcher? I think, like, we've had the cook confirmed at this stage. Here he is butchering. It couldn't... This is the butcher. So let's put it in. This wasn't my... There were so many other things going on. There's several other... Like, I think I've revisited this memory twice. And each time it was delivering something... Like, the first time was just, wow, you could go into the death memory of animals and... You know, all of that. It was much more interested. We were also at that time just kind of getting a little peek into this earlier chapter, and I already had Soldiers of the Sea that I wanted to go back to first, so I wasn't really looking through here carefully. Whereas the second time I came here, I'm pretty sure I was mainly... This was helping me with the midshipmen, and that was kind of the big reveal. But it's time to deal with our clearly Irish butcher, Emile O'Farrell, who was indeed... I am just remembering from myself, was indeed in Soldiers of the Sea, spiked by a terrible beast. So that's him. He was spiked. Yeah, he was spiked, I'm pretty sure. Actually, Emile is the one... Hang on. Emile is the one... I was remembering him in an earlier memory, but he's the one who actually ends up pinned against the wall, doesn't he? Yeah, my sad Emile. Emile, one of my saddest memories. Okay. So that's super useful. Chicken. Can't wait for the part of the game where we identify the chickens. These two we're good with. We know you. Monkey, I don't know. Monkey, do you have a larger role in all of this? These are two best friends carrying their third best friend up the stairs in an incredibly tragic moment. This is James, right? Surgeon's mate. This is not opened. And I know I've looked in these windows. I don't think there was anything in particular to see. And we can't go up. Okay, so that's all there is to see in this one. Cool. Butcher locked in. Okay, that's another one checked off. Now what I want... there's a couple of things I want to do. What is the next thing I want to do, Rebecca? What is the next one? I think... I'm a bit indecisive. All right. I think the next one, I'm actually just going to step out onto the deck, get a breath of fresh air, look at the sun. What I want to do is at this stage check how many things I have locked in. How many So, how many fates? I'm sure you probably know what I mean, maybe you don't. But here's what I actually meant. How many fates do I have fully filled in but not confirmed? Because again, this is a clue for me about things that are wrong. Quite a lot confirmed. Okay. So this one not filled in yet, and so we know who he was shot by now. Edward. But I don't know who you are, and you're only in 2 memories. You only have like 1 line in this memory anyway. So what's your other memory? It's a bit, here. Yeah, that's what I thought. I suspected you're just asleep somewhere. So that's no help. Oh, what? The reason I paused there is because I thought to myself, hang on, does the location of this tell me which bed he's in? But no, it's the location of the person who died in that memory. So no, no, it doesn't. So he's just asleep in that moment. That doesn't help. Yeah, that doesn't help with his that doesn't help. So no, that one's not fully filled in. This is the translator. Now, I don't think we have any real information on the names. You know, like I can go, oh, this is one of the 4 Chinese topmen. It doesn't, without any kind of names to eliminate, you know, to be able to pinpoint someone or to eliminate someone else. You know, they're all just sort of sleeping together. They're assigned numbers down in that other memory. But that doesn't tell me who's who because I can't see. Yeah. Unless somebody has a pipe next to their hammock, that doesn't help me. So I think I don't have enough to identify these people. And certainly that guy. This guy is probably Samuel. I probably can put it in. I just didn't want to, and quite frankly, I still don't want to. I was hoping to come across more than just these 2 whispered to each other. They're standing next to each other. You know, it's not enough that I feel happy with putting it in, but you guys all know that this is, you know, like I've long had these various suspicions. This one is probably Samuel, the second mate's mate, steward. The second mate's steward. But I'm going to leave it for the time being. Let's say this is not fully filled in yet. That's not what I'm looking at right here, right now. These are all confirmed. So this guy. What do I have on you? Again, you're only in a couple of memories. It's not much. Yeah, and that's when I was already, my eyes were already resting here. So you're just sleeping somewhere. You have a name, you're sleeping in a hammock somewhere. It's not much unless... Lift this out, take it below. Here he is translating. What are these monsters? Where are they from? You must tell us everything. This is your fault. The shell must be protected. We will all die. He talks about a shell, very dangerous. I mean, if he says this is all your fault, I don't know if he's talking to the captain, or I don't know if he's talking to the translator. It's kind of interesting if he is talking to the translator. He talks about a shell, very dangerous. If he is, it's hilarious if he is talking about the translator, because then the translator doesn't say, oh, he says it's my fault. Shell? What shell? I assume he's talking to the captain, because the captain is responsible for everything. Okay. But there's no identity information there. Confirmed. John Naples. Well, John Naples, what was your fate? What was this one? Oh, that's right. You're the missing leg. Like, of course we could have a guess at this, but the fact is we haven't seen anything apart from the fact that he's missing a leg and it's to do with the fish. Like, we haven't even seen a fish, like, or a merperson remove a leg. So, what would I say? I don't know if they're eating. I don't know if they're scratching. I don't know if they're tearing somebody apart. You're tearing me apart, says John Naples, maybe. Potentially. Perhaps that's what he said. I don't know. So again, we know you were electrocuted. We know you're a topman, but which topman are you? Work fast, the wind is alive. There's no identity information here, so it's not enough. This is one of the two people who was decapitated, and again, while we have clarity over the death, I don't have any identity information that I know of. And again, don't let me know. You know, maybe there is. I will sniff it out if there is, but at this moment, I don't know. So, we've got the butcher. One. This is one that I think is complete and I think is right. This, again, I think the death is right. Now, I know that you're one of the stewards, but I have a couple of stewards who are currently unknown, is the problem. I have guesses for them. I maybe could make the guesses, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'm ready to do that. Where are my stewards? I think the other one is Samuel, the one who was whispering to the second mate, and I think Roderick is the one who's hanging out with Martin. So I think most likely this is Davy James. Though, yeah, because I, you know, yes, if I put these two in and they're correct, I can definitely say this is Davy James. It's possible, but I'm not going to do it just yet. I want to consider my other options. I'd like to see if I have other options for moving forward. I'd like to see if I get any more confirmation. But otherwise I will do that. Lars, you're still an unknown attacker, and I'm just simply not willing to guess between the two brothers, because I'm so sure that we'll get information on that, I reckon, in chapter 1. You're a mystery. You remain a mystery. This is probably wrong. So we can say that this is number 2. But this is... This just requires me making a call on the stewards. So that's okay, let's keep that in mind. And then... Surely this is correct. 3. That would be 3. It would make sense that nothing is confirmed if the previous one I highly, highly suspect is wrong is in fact wrong. This is the Peters I'm not willing to guess about. This guy... Yeah, obviously we've got Charles Minor and Duncan. I wonder... let me have a think. I can remember... You're in so many memories, actually. You are in so many. Yeah, Soldiers of the Sea, Unholy Captives. You are just about the place a lot. Sleep In. Yeah, and then in this one as well. And yes, and also in you're in so many chapters, my guy. You're in so many chapters. You're in so many chapters. Let me go back to my crew. No, sorry, to my sketch and consider this. Let me just have a think. Look at my mystery people here. How can I tell you apart? With so many others confirmed, it might change the way I'm willing to, you know, the kind of bet I'm willing to make on someone. I mean, you're hanging out in a group. People certainly do like to be grouped together with, you know, their kind of, you know, the people that they work with and the people that they share, you know, origins and language and culture with. It's very common, but it's not exclusive. Sorry, that was me hitting the desk. Okay, anyway. So that's something I can, like, possibly have a think about as well. Now what were we looking through? The conclusion of the doom. Yeah, okay. So these are three interesting figures. Mario here. Yep. We can have a think about that. The bargain is remains a mystery for a long time. Alfred, Paul. Because I still haven't input the two women. Again, I'm so enthusiastic about getting more information about them, and surely we're going to get more information about them, say, in the first chapter. Like, I think the game is going to let us know more about this family. I think the game is going to let us know something that might indicate where they've actually gone. And if not, then my best guess would be, well, what was the closest area to where the ship was when they got on the dinghy. Yep. Olus. Confirmed. We're fairly sure that we know who this is. Oh no, John Davies was confirmed because he was the attacker of Brennan. Oh, sorry, no, he was the guy who was clubbed by Brennan. Yeah, that was confirmed through the other death. John Davies is confirmed. It just wasn't input yet. Oh, hang on, Henry Evans. No, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. My strong suspicion is that Henry Evans is going to be the one that we see died of old age. Even though he says something about his health being poorly, originally I was thinking that probably meant he was ill, but now I'm thinking, and it's mainly simply because we have the option of expired at an old age. Now that I know that that's an option, I'm like, well, it has to apply to someone. It's probably Henry. So probably what he says at the beginning indicates his health is suffering from old age. However, I'm going to go ahead and say he doesn't look that old. I know shorter lifespans and everything like that, but he seems pretty dang sprightly to me here, and it's not that many years before the current time. So I don't know. But I guess it depends on what you call dying of old age. He's dying of something. He's dying of something to do with his age. But yeah, what do you say? Anyway, I'm being picky about it, but my big guess would be that that's what we're actually going to end up saying about him. Okay. The child and the women, we know that they've escaped somewhere, but I don't know where they've escaped. So, of everything that I've reviewed in the book, the number one thing that I am the most happy, I obviously have many guesses that I feel 99.9% are probably true. The one that I finally feel happy about just putting down based on the information I have is fourth mate here. Why? It's because of his hat. I was hoping, that again we might find out more information. There might be a memory that uses his name or something like that. But we've had all of the others confirmed at this stage, right? So let's go ahead and call him John. John Davies here, fourth mate. I don't know why he's standing apart from the others. He is such a figure of interest for me. He is a super figure of interest for me. Super figure of interest. Martin isn't confirmed though. However, it must be Martin. It must be Martin because he's Martin and he's the one who's in that scene. So he's not confirmed. I think this is John. Clubbed by Henry. So, yeah, but still not confirmed. Okay. Cool. Look, that's as far as I can take this episode. This is me kind of with the previous episode of having like 12 confirmations. This is me now doing some, a bit of revision and it also figuring out for myself and explaining to you where my comfort level is with making certain assumptions, with putting things in, and even explaining what it is that I'm kind of hoping to see, but where I might be teetering on the edge of having a guess at something. Where I'm sort of like, I would like to hear a name, or I would like to hear a little bit something more here before I put this in. So anyway, I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for coming along with me on this voyage of the Obra Dinn. Not that we're going anywhere. We are going places. The ship itself is not going anywhere as far as I can tell right now. Who knows? But thank you for coming along with me on this voyage. I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.